Yeah, I'm ready when y'all are.
Well, we are live.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Miss Miranda, and I'm here with wonderful YouTubers here. So I have Angie Moon.
Hello.
I have Godless Cranium here.
Howdy.
I have Fain.
Hey, everybody.
And Rico Rants.
Yo.
And we are going to be discussing, as the title says, conservatism and how the far right has infiltrated the conservative movement. I wanted to get everyone's opinion on this, and I feel that we may have agreements in certain ways, but I feel like we're going to have different approaches. So, first of all, where do you feel like this actually started? Because I feel like it really got worse once the Trump administration got into play here. By the way,
I think it's been going on for a long time because it was just different names back in the day. Like I'm sure in the 2000s, I mean, you did have like some pretty far right people on the radio and stuff like that, and that was all normalized. And patriotism was very big in the early 2000s. Like if you remember the Dixie Chicks, or well, now they're called the Chicks. They were basically canceled for calling out George Bush in the war. So I don't think it started with Trump. None of this started with Trump. It's always been a problem in America.
I'd highly recommend two things that really go in depth as to the foundation of the modern conservative movement. It's a bit of a long read, but it's an article called "The Long Con," which really details how much of this shit has always been just. Or at the very least, it's the movement leaders. Much of it has been led by frauds, by crooks, by con men who've been feeding conservative people who just consume right-wing media just a steady stream of bullshit for so long that at this point this was the logical conclusion. Where now it's as if they're in an entirely different reality than the rest of us.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I personally feel that we're seeing people around my age actually starting to become more left. And we see this. But we're also seeing people, especially when the Trump administration got in, everyone, even me, I hate to admit this, but even myself was like, he can't be that bad. I mean, he's loud, he's obnoxious, but I doubt he's going to take away anybody's rights. And then it leads on to this type of mentality that people have that, well, we need something different. He was different in our eyes.
I'm not American, but I think a lot of that had to do also with having faith in the institutions that would keep him in check. Because I saw a lot of Americans say the Supreme Court isn't going to allow that to happen, and and here we are now with people getting hit with rubber bullets and having their faces smashed by police. So,
yep. Yeah, the institutions completely failed. But this can be centered a lot, I think, around the Trump presidency, but a lot of it was already in progress on the ramp up in 2014, 2015, especially with the and I'm going to talk a little bit about from a YouTube perspective, the skeptic community. The atheist community is where a lot of these channels came from, including me. I got swept up, our channel got swept up into that same thing. We were friends with all those people. I have met and drank and had dinner with all of them, from Sargon of Akkad to the Shoe on Head, Andy Worski, to, all of them. And they all went in different directions, but a lot of it came up to in 2016, the ramp up to the presidency and that fight where we were fighting an enemy that was imaginary. We were fighting Trigglypuff, and Big Red, not real enemies, just isolated people that we would beat up. You're beating up on Riley Dennis and Christy Winters, and all these people. Their influential spheres were in the hundreds or thousands, maybe, and then these YouTubers were using them to create these audiences and this impression that there was a radical left, and that the colleges were now indoctrination camps for communism. and we're pumping this out. And somehow we thought, you know, we do need something different in the presidency. Why don't we try for a change a rich old white dude?
Yeah.
Why don't we give that, you know, for a little something different?
Uh,
And the YouTubers were complicit in all of this. And as a matter of fact, it started, what was clearly an alt-right pipeline where people were just slowly inched, as they went deeper down the rabbit hole towards more and more radical YouTubers and streamers. And next thing you know, you're sitting there, thinking, listening to Gavin McGinnis and saying, that makes some sense.
I made a video actually that I haven't released yet, but in it I said that if I was a white nationalist, alt-right douchebag, then I would definitely want to get my way into the atheist community, because a lot of the people in general in that community kind of discount feelings and go for evidence. And so like the only thing you have to do is convince them that your evidence, even though if it's crappy, is right. And you see that
it feels good.
Yes, yeah, it feels good. And it's also like the trans athlete thing is one area where you see that all over, right? Because they can just argue about science. And if you can get enough people to kind of go with their feelings and with whatever, crappy evidence they have, then you can create a movement within that movement to go against that, right? So it's really, I can see why it would be the atheist community that would kind of embargo that into YouTube, right?
Yeah, it was set up. It was an easy layup. And the atheist community had gotten lazy, and a part of this was because we were constantly responding or dealing with the same arguments over and over from rather weak competition. And so you got to the laziest versions of arguments and started just accepting, that's how this works. Next thing you know, you're posing lazy arguments in politics.
But do you think that could go the other way? Like in some alternate universe, or like maybe, 10 years down the road, maybe it goes to the radical left instead of the radical right?
It could. I think the same people are influenced by that kind of thing. And if the left had easier talking points, the only problem is the right has the establishment. And there, in the United States anyway, there's a very strong, this American exceptionalism is really powerful, and this belief in, that free market capitalism, which very few actually even understand, is somehow the measuring stick by which we should measure all, ideologies. And I don't know, it's going to be a little tougher to swing the other way than it is to swing the right.
I feel this happened actually pretty quickly. We're talking about people that, first of all, we're always on social media, and we're seeing things on YouTube. We're seeing people on the right push out videos like nonstop. There's always a video every day. And when you look at things like, I'm pretty sure we've all sat down and watched the whole feminist cringe compilations, right? Sure. We're seeing stuff like this, and it goes on to each video, and then we're having this assumption in our heads that this is more bigger than we actually see it. And it goes so fast. We're seeing people that Fain has spoken to before. A couple of years ago, they were considered moderates. Now they're considered like full-blown fascists.
I actually got two things on that, but Angie, I think you were about to try to say something.
Yeah, I definitely I'm one of those people. Here's my little story. I mean, I've watched a few atheist YouTubers. Like my favorite's The Amazing Atheist, and I like Shoe on Head, and I've watched them since I was in secondary school, university, and I never was on the right. But I definitely think that there is a missing place on the left for people who aren't feminists, but who aren't anti-feminists either. People who are critical of feminism and critical of identity politics and quote unquote SJW stuff, because that's where I do feel kind of homeless in that way, that I don't know where exactly I belong. I mean, I know I'm on the left, but I just hate that when people, it's kind of like the snowball scene in SpongeBob where Squidward's just throwing a snowball at feminists, and conservatives are like, oh yeah, well that means they're on my side, and that's what some people think. And I'm like, no, not on your side.
Yeah, no, that's always funny. Cause I've had that too, where in my videos where I do something where I'm criticizing the left or left-leaning people And I got some like straight up white nationalists like, yeah, you telling me, and I'm like, hold on now, there, buddy. Let's pump the brakes there. I'm not. That's not how this works.
Yep.
So yeah, there is a not so insignificant number of people who will come to those conclusions. You know what I mean, based off of those type of interactions, and you got to make it clear. And I definitely think a lot of the issue is that would especially played into the radicalization up to this point is that a lot of people didn't really know where they stood. A lot of people didn't really understand I know myself back in fucking between the ages of 17 and 21, I didn't know what the fuck what my politics were. I didn't understand any of that shit. And even especially when I first just started paying attention, I didn't understand anything. I really didn't. And so I like to think I could have just as easily been radicalized as anybody else, but I was it just didn't appeal to me. But to other people it did. A lot of people it fucking did. They see an anti-feminist or they see a feminist cringe compilation, and the thing that clicks in their head is, I wouldn't want that to be me, so I don't want to be a feminist. Because those feminists get made look silly and stupid. And a lot I like to think that's I played into a lot of what motivated people's politics is they saw these people being ridiculed, social justice warriors, feminists, whatever, and their gut reaction is they're laughing at them, but their mind is I don't want to be them. I don't want to be the one getting laughed at. So they think the right politics and the right decision is to be the opposite. And that's how you end up with a fuckload of people being anti-feminist, anti-SJW, and all that jazz, just because they feel it really just it's self-preservation at that point, rather than an actual committed conviction towards anti-feminism and anti-SJW and all that.
I don't think sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Okay, I don't think that it helped that when I was getting into the anti-SJW stuff right around 2012. I was in my first year of university, and I was at York University in Toronto, which is a very, very liberal school. And I remember I went to this radio station training, and they were talking about cultural appropriation, and I just started laughing. Like, what do you mean? Like, can't I enjoy other cultures? This is just so dumb because I come from a mixed family, so I was just like, this is so weird. Why are they segregating that stuff? So when I saw that being legitimized, like looking at Tumblr in action and looking at these skeptic YouTubers talking about this stuff, I was like. Then I kind of fell more into an anti-SJW, but not a right-winger. I was never a right-winger because I was like, but it was just like, whoa. But it is a problem in universities. It is, definitely, but I don't think that they're exactly a threat or anything.
I think that's another reason why the atheist community is really good for harvesting far-right people is because they... anytime that you express strong opinions, it's all of a sudden religious, and that's bad. Because I get called religious all the time because I take strong stands on Twitter and in my videos, and I don't just follow along with the other atheist YouTubers most of the time. So I get that all the time, and I think that makes it a lot easier to drag people into your right-wing sphere, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself becoming a. I went through the right-wing pipeline all the way up till Andy Worski, had the Richard Spencer stream, and that was when I realized what the hell was happening. I could still consider myself on the left, who was just trying to have good faith issues with people on my side that I felt were maybe embarrassing. Now I've, look, and I defended Andy Worski. I would be on his live streams. I would participate, in those groups. We would meet, I met him several times in real life. And I thought, I didn't even realize it was happening to me. That I was being just, call it, it's the boiled Pepe theory. You could put Pepe in a boiling pot of water and just slowly increase the temperature, and he doesn't realize what's happening to him. Next thing you know, he's a fucking Nazi. And so that's kind of where I felt I was at, and it was when we were in a private chat group in the lead up till that with a large amount of these from Sargon and look, a large amount of YouTubers and from the skeptic community. And I was watching this until finally Andy was like, I think we need to start bringing the alt-right on, having these conversations. And I was like, no. If the conversation, if we're already at race realism, I'm getting the hell off.
Yeah, and that's why I want to tie that back to the original topic with regards to what happened to conservatives. A lot of this is what you just described was all with Angie and all you have described. It wasn't so much that you guys were, say, pro anti-feminism and all that. Like you weren't diehard true believers. It's that you just didn't want to be associated with those people that would deem, cringe, embarrassing, bad, and you don't want, that's what the case where a lot of people, it's just I'm not necessarily for this, I'm just against them. And as you said with the slow cook, is that, you're just, the temperatures are slowly, steadily rising. More and more people, they just find themselves deeper and deeper into that sphere, into that mode of thinking, to the point by the time you realize it, it's already too late. You know what I mean?
I would like to add something on that too. I really feel that a lot of these people want a sense of community. And I've spoken to people who are former white nationalists before, and there are people that they're either bored, they're either missing something in their lives, and a lot of it has to do with some kind of connection. So when we're talking about YouTubers, you get involved with these YouTubers, exactly like Fain said, you get involved with them, you talk with them, you think they're nice people, and then suddenly you turn around and you go, what is happening around me? What is actually happening? And some people are probably in denial as well. They don't want to admit that this is happening around them.
It's the sunk cost fallacy. It's that sunk cost fallacy. The more and more invested in the thing you become, the harder it is to let go of it, to admit that, oh shit, I fucked up and I need to get out of this. So again, the deeper in that you are, it's really, really hard to get out. Even when you know it's wrong.
There's pressure also with YouTube. The more subscribers and the more you feel like you have to lose. For me, it was easy. I mean, we're at a channel with 15,000 subscribers, and so when I called Andy out, of course, I had to face quite a long time of apostatism. And a lot of people left the channel and everything, but I didn't face sacrifices like some others. And there were a lot of people who bailed, and cost them their subscribers, cost them their channel in a lot of cases. And that's tough. You want to just stay in line and keep your audience happy. And I don't think a lot of that all these YouTubers who've continued down that path, I don't think they all believe what they're selling now. Even people like the Quartering every day. If you follow Jeremy, which again, I've had beer, I've gotten high with Jeremy, for fuck's sake.
So sorry to hear that.
But, you know what? Man, he's fun at a keg party. I'll say that. He's a relatively funny guy, but every day he tweets out, "Hey, what do you guys want to talk about today?" And from the feedback on that tweet, he will make 3 or 4 videos. That tells you how much he needs to research, how much he needs to look into things. He fucking doesn't.
I mean,
you don't have to. Your audience does not demand it.
Yeah, he's already admitted that. He's doing it for the money because his audience wants it, so that's what he's gonna give it. And
but he can't turn.
He doesn't believe it. He can't turn back.
He can't turn. It's too late.
I think like what Rico was saying about people like I don't want to be associated with those people. I think that definitely gave rise to people like Blair White and Dave Rubin and people who are like minorities, and they believe these things and they know that there's money in it.
Mm-hmm.
And like Blair White, like I'm thinking about Blair White, like she comes across as a total pick-me. Like, oh, I'm a good transsexual. I'm very gender conforming. I don't have a beard. I don't have like pink hair. I transition. Look at me. But there's like a privilege in all of that. And I don't like the respectability politics because it does end up hurting people. And we do need to speak out against it no matter who it's happening to.
Well, I'll tell you what on that. You leave the black conservatives to me. If we got any trans leftists, I'll leave Blair to them. You know what I mean? Like leave layer the contrapoints and all that. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
we'll call out our own and our respective demographics.
I don't know who I can call out then.
Mhm.
I'm kind
Yeah,
of like.
are there any native conservatives out there?
I mean, there's Real. I think Real has. I believe he at least mentioned that he has indigenous blood, but I
I
have
don't
no
know
clue.
any, well-known Hispanic conservatives on YouTube. I don't know of any.
Me neither. I don't know. Think about it.
I am curious what you guys think about this here. So when we're discussing, like in the title, we're mainly discussing like conservatism and how it went into the far right. But I should have mentioned as well. There's centrists centrist liberals, like we were discussing before the stream. Tim Pool, one of them, that consistently just espouses like rhetoric that is completely in opposition of what he claims to be. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you feel like, is it possible he truly believes, well, honestly, I'm pretty sure what you guys are going to say, but do you think he truly believes he's a liberal, or do you really think that this is just a ploy, like Angie and Rico were stating before?
I think Tim Pool's just dumb. Personally.
Yeah.
Like every time I look at it, like and I've seen his debates, when he's talked to people, and he is actually like remarkably dumb. Like he really doesn't understand what he doesn't understand what he's saying. Very clearly, he has no idea even the concepts he's trying to tackle. And like when I've seen him on his debate with David Pakman, with the Majority Reports, I forget his fucking name. Off the top of my head, Sam Cedar, you know what I mean? And he just shows himself to not understand any of the concepts he speaks on.
It's also that they're lazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because you can see, I don't know how many times Tim Pool is read from like a Wikipedia article, and then the Wikipedia article actually refutes what he's saying, and then he'll just keep going as if he didn't read it.
Just ignore it.
Yeah, or just ignore it. And also, like, all the incentives of YouTube is pointing people towards making right-wing content, right? I mean, from everything from monetization to algorithms to like how often like the right-wing YouTubers all collaborate, and that it boosts their channels and stuff like that. Whereas a lot of left-wing YouTubers don't talk to each other. They don't collaborate. They just exist in their own little YouTube sphere. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a couple that do, like the Surfs, and I know Thought Slime has the eyeball zone and all that kind of stuff. But overall, I'm saying in a general way, they don't.
Do you think there's a particular reason for that, or? Yeah.
I think because there's a lot of different sects within the left, right? So there's like anarcho-communism, there's communism, there's social democrats, or, go on and on and on, and all of them disagree about it. So it's harder to get in and talk. And that's partially why. I don't know what the full reason would be, but
I would say, I was gonna say, just short version. Basically, it's very easy to churn out unsubstantiated, unresearched bullshit on a regular, because that their shit is the equivalent to like junk food. Yeah. And they can churn it out like here. Like you see Tim Pool will put out so many videos a day because you don't have to think about it. The buzzwords sell, the talking points sell. So just keep putting them out there.
And the memes.
Yeah. And I think with all the differences on the left, like Godless Cranium was saying, like the thing is, I've had more arguments with people who agree with me like on 90% of things than I do with people who agree with me on 50% of things.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very fragmented on the left. There's not very much unity, and that's, I think, where we're kind of losing here.
There's also a problem on the left that you don't want to, platform somebody or, collab with somebody who later ends up being problematic.
Yeah.
A lot of YouTubers, once they get a certain size, they're just terrified of having been associated with somebody who turns out to be a piece of shit or does something wrong, or
the thing is, on the reverse of that, like on the right wing, like just take Steven Crowder for example. The dude is notoriously awful to everyone he works with. Here on the left, that would be basically a career ender, whereas on the right, they just be like, he's on our side, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So they don't care that Steven Crowder is an abusive, borderline fucking psychopathic asshole to everyone who works with him. Like he is like you just listen to people who formerly worked with it. Just an example, Owen Benjamin, the dude who's just full on white nationalist. He came out and just dropped it all on Steven Crowder. They said this dude was abusive like the whole time to him and everyone there. He got one of his people deported for not doing what he said. You know, like he was a dude who was on a German national there on a visa, got his ass deported. You know, all kinds of shit. But again, whereas on the left, if any of us got caught doing some shit like that, done. But on the right, you can be like all their stars can be absolutely fucking awful to everyone, and they'll just, so long as they're on their side, that's all that matters.
I think they take it more as like a business standpoint, where it's like, well, I don't care what you did in your private life. I don't know what you have said before. We don't care as long as you're as long as I collaborate with you, you're going to do something for me. And I think the left, and this is something that I believe in truly, that I think the left is more passionate when it comes to a lot of things, especially when it comes to, of course, equality. And when we tend to disagree with people, we tend to get a bit more passionate about it. So like Angie said, we might have more disagreements. We might get into more arguments with each other. So I think that we have to find a way, like we're doing today. I'm pretty sure we all have differences of opinions on a lot of different aspects. Sure. But we're still talking today. We're talking about one specific thing that we feel passionate about. And I think we need to have more of this.
Well, I think the right does have some, like there's like core issues that if they go against it, like I would say like Hunter Avallone, for example, is getting nailed by his subscribers and people that used to collaborate with him because he's gone against one of those core principles, right? So there are principles in the right that they can't kind of leave from that area, but there's more of them in the left. I think like, there's a lot more divergent opinions there.
You are more likely to get blacklisted and excommunicated from the right for disagreeing with their political opinion than you are for being an awful human being. Whereas on the left, we disagree with each other all the fucking time. But if you find out that you're abusing your fucking staff and all that shit, you're done. You're donezo. You know what I'm saying?
Another thing, I was just like, when you were speaking there, Rico, I thought immediately of Kathy Zhu. I don't know if anyone remembers her, but she was like a hardcore, I think she's a Chinese Trump supporter. And she ended up getting...
Kathy Zhu, I remember her.
She ended up getting like, she took pictures with Nick Fuentes and a bunch of other alt-right figureheads. And the minute she called them out for their racism, which she...
Dunzo.
She
was done.
She's gone now. She's still around, but like she's no longer on social media. I guarantee people like Dave Rubin, people like Lauren Chen, if they actually came out and said something like this, because the right seems to have this belief that anyone who calls out like racism, anyone who calls out transphobia, is just some kind of SJW. I see that too often. They seem to, instead of actually trying to look deeper into something, they're thinking of it as black and white. Well, of course there's racism out there, but what is their opinion on what racism truly is?
Well, that's because like understanding things like systemic racism is hard, right? Like, I mean, you have to like go and actually look and be curious. If you're right, then you can just say it doesn't exist, and that's the end of the conversation.
It's easy, yeah.
Yeah, I work in a particular area that like me having my type of job is proof that systemic racism is still out there. So it's like every time I see some like right winger in some suit getting paid by a bunch of money and just to sit back and say, well, there's no such thing as systemic racism, that really peeves me off. Like
Charlie Kirk makes $300K a year doing what he does. Yeah, it's quite fucking lucrative doing that, and it's genuinely sad. Like just how lucrative it is to do that. Mm-hmm. I could make fucking bank being a fucking Marine Corps veteran, black conservative.
All you have to do is turn, man. All you have to do is heel turn.
I left the left left me.
That's all you have to do. You are a week away from 20,000 subscribers. Just turn on us, man.
I think we were talking about like how like the left will cancel people over like character and like treating people horribly, but I don't think I remember when there was a whole controversy with Cenk Uygur and not allowing the Young Turks and people who work for them to unionize. He hasn't been canceled. The Young Turks haven't been canceled. People do still watch them. So I think there is a point where sometimes people are too big to be canceled.
It's the opposite of canceled. I mean, they have a cable TV network now.
Yeah, they've only gone larger and larger.
Like he's gotten a lot. Well, to that, he got removed from the Democrats. He lost his endorsement from Bernie and other politicians. He hasn't so much as been canceled, like completely lost everything, but he lost a significant amount of influence that he once had. You know what I mean? He can't tweet a damn thing without being reminded of the shit he's done. Like when the shit he's done did not go without consequence. Whereas,
a few years ago, I would watch the Young Turks like a lot, like religiously, but now I'm just watching Kyle Kalinske instead.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's...
relatable.
That's what I'm saying. He did not go without some consequence in his actions.
I like Pac-Man better than both of those. I also think Ruben is... Yeah, I also think Ruben's on his way out. Like, I don't think he's going to be around. Like, he'll be around maybe, but I think his own people are kind of starting to turn on him because he's really bad. Like, he's what's the word I'm looking for here? He's a liability. That's what he is.
Yeah, at this point, he's a liability. His usefulness is gone. It's done now. It's the act is stale.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of like it's an easy. Let's look at Lady Maga. Do you know who Lady Maga is?
Yes.
Oh, the drag queen.
All right. So Lady Maga was someone who put out this video back in December, and I actually tried to get her onto our live stream. She had a couple hundred subscribers and like 650 or 60 followers on Twitter. And I was like, this is a bit that will catch. This will catch. I'm like, let's see if we can get her on. I had some conversations. And it's him. I'm sorry, that's so hard. Right-wing pronouns are so difficult for me because it's him. Anyway, so he would not come on or kept dragging his feet. And sure enough, it popped, right? It took off, and it's so different and everything. And you think, oh, see, here's somebody from the left who clearly would normally, from the LGBT community would have all this reason to be on the left, but the insanity of the left, here they come. And then once you get a certain level of acceptance, then it's time for you to move over. We used you for the optics, but now we need you to shut the hell up. Ariella whatever. It's a mouthful.
I don't know how to say it either.
It's a mouthful of consonants, but so there's a picture a couple weeks ago of her and Lady Maga, and what is it that Brokeback USA guy, are in this little picture, and I'm like, yep, that's it. That's your prom picture. That's as far as you get to go. Yep. Now you have to move on. Dave Rubin fit a little bit more into what they want to see. They'll allow you to get bigger. You're not dressing, you're not, you don't look different. You're sitting there. You look like a good Republican. You got the right haircut. You're wearing the right clothes. You're sitting in front of the right kind of set. Will allow you to get bigger, but don't then turn and say, I'm now openly conservative. And then here, let me have an equal seat at the table. They're going to take it away from you.
And I think that's why Ariel Scarcella is not going to go fully into this as well, because if you look at her content, it goes directly in opposition of what a lot of Republicans want. Her type of content, if you look at her thumbnails, I don't know if anyone has, don't recommend it, but they're pretty
it's very sexual.
Very
and she will not win over any of the evangelical Christians, which are a huge part of the right.
Yeah.
She won't.
Mm-hmm. And these are the people, she spoke to people like Steven Crowder and Lauren Chen, the people that call gays degenerates. She spoke to them. And again, look at the way she dressed, just like Fain said. The way she dresses doesn't look like something like Lauren Chen and Candace Owens wears.
That's right. If you want to, you need to look like you're auditioning for a Fox News anchor.
Yeah. There's something I want to go back to. Did y'all see that viral video, the when wokes and racists agree on everything.
Oh Jesus! Fuck.
Oh my god,
Christ.
I have an unpopular
Fucking
opinion
video.
on that one. I actually kind of liked it, but that's because I laugh at everything.
All right, so do y'all see what that video is doing? Like, it's doing the very type of thing where, wow, the woke people are awful. I wouldn't want to be woke. I'm not going to call myself woke. You know what I mean? It's the kind of foments that it's a very, very right wing, but not explicitly so. So you end up siding with the right because you don't want to be the left. Because
Not just siding with the right, siding with the racist.
You get what I'm saying? They don't realize that. They don't realize that's what they're doing. They just know that, wow, the woke person is racist and awful and dumb, and look how much he agrees with the racist.
Yeah, the racist guy is right. He has racist on his shirt, and he's the protagonist.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So it ends up creating this kind of not pro-racist, but anti-woke mindset that you end up becoming racist anyways, or at the very least siding with them.
Trying to find a way to shortcut the pipeline is what we're trying to do now. Trying to get you to go from just dude to alt-right in a fucking 1 minute Twitter video, if we can get that.
That's what that video felt like to me immediately. Like, okay, we're back in 2016, and you don't want to be a social justice warrior because X and Y. So you end up becoming an anti-SJW because clearly, and it's not. It just seemed like the grass is green on the other side, but really, you were arguing. You're avoiding being a straw man. You know what I mean? You're avoiding finding this caricature, and again, you end up siding with. So that's what I'm saying when you go back to conservatives, is if you look at right-wing media, just for the last 10, 20 years alone, how they portray everyone to the left of them. It is that same ridiculous, over-the-top caricature bullshit. That's how they've done it for so long.
Is it true that the guy who created the video, though, is a conservative? I don't know if he is or isn't.
No, he's not explicitly conservative, but he's definitely right-leaning. Because he's made multiple videos like that kind of really gives the game away. But he's one of those people who doesn't think he is. He swears he's not. In fact, he probably thinks he's apolitical.
Yeah, probably wait a year.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, if you look at how the Democrats and just anybody to the left of conservatives and right-wing media have been portrayed for years now, there is nothing worse to them than being a Democrat. Literally nothing worse. So that's how this whole shit works, is they end up siding with increasingly extreme people because to them, as they've been convinced, literally nothing is worse than being a Democrat or being a liberal, being a leftist.
No, they'll call you a socialist. Everything is a socialist if they don't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm super curious, like you said, like they think anything is better than that. But if they were claiming, especially people like Ariel Scarcella are claiming that the left are crazy and therefore she doesn't want to have any association with them, why is it that people like her can be on the right, continue talking to people that just don't give a shit about her rights? She might see even videos of people from the far right acting crazy, but that's not clicking in her head the same way it clicked when she looked at the left. Isn't she going to look at the right and say, whoa, I don't want to associate with them, so I'm going to try to be
You're
in the
the
middle
people paying her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's always some kind of incentive there. So.
Yeah, that's it. It's a combination of incentives, sunk cost, the belief, again, that the opposition is just infinitely worse no matter what, and then it just kind of just not believing that there's any middle ground there. I would say that's another big one, is just that they think it's either one or the other and that there's no in between. And I'm just like, there kind of is.
Feelings.
You know what's up?
Also hurt feelings. She said some fucked up things and people called her out for it. And her hurt feelings was what finally made her like, I'm going to go join the other side because you guys are mean to me.
Yeah.
Because she was
Silverman.
And the thing is, her friends were nice to her.
A perfect example of that.
Like Calvin was calling her out all the time, and she just didn't listen to Calvin. She just used the thing is, it's very weird how she befriended all these young trans people who had just turned 18. It's just very weird to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like there's a pattern there.
Especially actually hearing that just when Storm Ryan was about a few months into being 18, that's when she looked at his private parts in a video. that was addressed in Calvin's video. And it's like, sure, that's a part of her video, and sure, he's 18, but there's still something weird about that, and there's this big power dynamic as well. I'm gonna wait until Fain to come back, but I have like a question just to kind of go into it. Since we're talking about conservatives and how they're even people like centrists that lean farther right in the end, and how it's infiltrated into the movement. What do you guys think about cancel culture, the censorship that people are claiming that's going on? Because in the end, sorry to cut you off, Godless Cranium, but just to clarify, in the end, when someone, I'm all for deplatforming people, but in the end, they get to claim, well, there's a conservative censorship. When in actuality, it's not conservatives that are being censored. It's people that are actually having these far right ideologies being presented.
It's just people on either end of the extreme spectrum. Like you'll have like BDS activists and communists being taken down, just like you will have like alt-right neo-Nazis taken down as well. And yeah, that's definitely what's happening.
Conservatives have been about cancel culture since they've been a thing. I mean, D&D was trying to be canceled.
The Dixie Chicks. Enough said.
It's constant pearl clutching. I also object to the idea that there's centrists. I don't think there's, like, I know people like to try to like say that they're centrist, but we all have biases and we all like kind of lean to one way or the other. And it's not really like, you can't be completely objective about anything. It's just weird to be like, pretend that you're like some kind of rational centrist when really you're not.
And on the note of cancel culture and all that and censorship, all right, so remember y'all saw me complaining about how I was on that panel with Tree of Logic crazy ass, right?
Oof. Yeah.
Look, if there's one thing I took from that is that the conservatives, all of them, because that was mostly conservative panel, just right-leaning panel, they are fucking obsessed with cancel culture and censorship. Like, because they genuinely feel like they are being targeted. When the other remotely left-wing person when I was there with me, who had basically said to them, like, no, you guys just happen to say the things that get you censored more than everyone else. But they refuse to acknowledge that. No, that can't be it. They're being targeted. Like, they are legit saying that over and over. They just kept repeating that they are being targeted. That all these other platforms are deliberately coming after them and are hypocrite. They're saying even Facebook is biased against conservatives. And I'm like, Facebook is like dominated by conservatives and right-wing media. But they don't believe it. Even when they're winning, they don't believe they're winning.
Yeah.
They don't believe it.
You know who's being canceled? The like 10% of people that are starving in the world that can't get on the internet or have a roof over their head. Those are the actual people, or the people that are getting beat up by police right now with little or no coverage.
Yeah. Look, the right wing has this built in. They, here in the United States, the right wing controls the White House, the Supreme Court, the Senate, most governorships, most of the state governments, and yet they feel like they are oppressed, and so they have to make up the deep state. The deep state has to be who's oppressing them. There's always and how now they've made Donald Trump the president of the United States, and at the same time, a freedom fighter for the counterculture.
Yep.
You also have to have a very strong ability to like buy into conspiracy theories, right? Like you just said, like QAnon is a big one, for example.
QAnon, sure.
QAnon.
They are completely eyeball deep in conspiratorial nonsense. It's insane.
Yeah, like even the masks, right? Like that's somehow a bad thing.
Oh my god.
well, again, I told you this goes back into the long con. This has been like before the internet, and then definitely exacerbated by the internet. It's just this conspiratorial mindset of some big innocuous, like just secret hidden cabal is out to get you. You know what I mean? And they're gonna take everything from you. Yeah, if you don't do this, that, or the other thing, you know what I mean? If you don't side with us, they're gonna take it all from you. And they genuinely believe that the world is out to get them.
Well, that's a fascist tactic, right? Like you have to be simultaneously too strong and too weak, right? So you're a soy boy cuck, and you're weak, but you're also able to take over all the institutions and all the universities, and somehow you own the government, even though they're not. That's been going on for a long time.
It's insane. It's genuinely insane, but they believe that these completely contradictory, hypocritical views. It's and the conclusion I've come to is it just these people are a combination of terrified for their lives and also want power. On the one hand, like they genuinely want the power to be able to say and do whatever they want to whenever they want to, but they're also terrified of that very thing being dealt onto them. They project their own awfulness onto the rest of the world, that they think people are just as fucking shameless about obtaining power and authority as they are, willing to do whatever it takes. And they're wrong. That's why they can't fathom. That's why they got this old George Soros funding all the left-wing causes and shit. When it is them who is overwhelmingly backed by like billionaires and dark money groups and shit, because that's how they operate. They can't imagine people operating differently.
And just to add my own little piece on this as well, just to go in a little bit of a different direction here. If we can talk about, like, for an example, Stefan Molyneux, people like him that have been deplatformed. Everyone knows Peter Coffin, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Actually got through it. He unfollowed me because like he didn't like what I told him at one point. Because like I just had a slight disagreement with him on something. But when we talk about people like Stefan Molyneux that got deplatformed, Peter Coffin's opinion on this is that once that person's deplatformed, they're going to be considered like a martyr. They're going to be like put on some kind of pedestal.
He's wrong. And
I definitely think to an extent that's definitely true. I think that's true. Like, I definitely think that it can work that way. It depends on how popular the person is.
I personally feel
can't pop through that.
No,
he can't make it through it.
Alex Jones couldn't make it through it. So.
I think that
they don't have any charisma. They don't have any of that.
Well, there's different levels for sure.
Milo didn't make it through either.
Milo did not make it.
No, they might make like at the very beginning when it first happens, they might have a surge for a small amount of time. But I mean, when you get kicked off of YouTube, that's a huge blow, right? Like you're not recovering from that.
There is one person who has got this shit down to a science, who's I would say has mastered it. Take a guess who I'm referring
to. Crowder?
Nope.
No.
Donald Trump.
Nope. Take a guess. If y'all know me, y'all know who it is. I absolutely fucking loathe.
I know you don't like Candace Owens.
Bingo, Candace Owens. She has absolutely fucking mastered the grift. She is at this point. There is no canceling her. They're not. Yeah. She is too good. She's too fucking good at it.
Yeah, it was literally months between her being outed for that website, Social Autopsy, to being taking a run on all the right-wing YouTube channels.
Yeah.
It was literally months they wanted to kill. Look at what the left wants to do. And then she was like, "No, actually I want to join you guys." And they're like, "All right, you're black."
Wow, black woman. Oh yeah, she has mastered it. Like the Fox News was already dumping Diamond and Silk, but Candace Owens, she's not going anywhere. She is in it for the fucking long haul. They got her coming on fucking the white nationalist congressional hearing.
Oh god, she's been on a couple now.
Oh yeah, she's been on Candace Owens has mastered it. She is now one of the face of conservative media personalities, and she's not going anywhere.
And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that, if we look at how bad she is, let's look at all well, I can't even list everything she has said, but she called the protesters trained chimpanzees. She keeps claiming that Black people are inherently more violent than all the other races out there. She has called Indigenous people cannibals, and that they're no longer cannibals because the white man came and saved them. So the whole
she is indistinguishable from a fucking white. You could take anything she said and just put it just replace her with a white nationalist, and it would be no fucking different.
But
Like,
if you
it's
look at
because,
Laura,
like, these white
sorry.
nationalists are just like, oh, look, it's someone who agrees with us, and
yep.
some people, a lot of these conservatives are like, oh, hey, this is what's been on my mind. Now someone said it.
But if you look at people like Laura Loomer, though, like Laura
Oh yeah,
actually
nobody
got
talks about her.
taken off Twitter because of something she posted where she claimed she quote tweeted someone and said, "Good, here's to this many more," as in stating that there should be more Muslims that are killed. She also mentioned how she was upset that she had an Uber driver that happened to be Muslim, but she was taken off Twitter. Candace Owens has said the most disturbing things, like continuously.
But she knows how to word it in just the right fucking way that it doesn't come back. Like, whereas Laura Loomer just straight up saying, "Oh yeah, they should have killed more Muslims." Candace Owens wouldn't say that. She's not dumb. She wouldn't say something so explicitly fucking awful, but she'll definitely heavily imply it.
I don't know enough about Candace Owens, but wasn't she the one that had like said some kind of like Hitler apologetics?
Yes, she did. Yeah. That was her.
So that's pretty bad. I mean,
I'm telling you, she's good at this. She knows how to say absolutely horrible things, but in just the kind of way that doesn't get her canceled. She's mastered this fucking art, and she is one of, to me, I would say, one of the biggest, biggest threats in right-wing media is that because she knows how to play the game. She plays it fucking well.
Yeah, well, a lot of people. I mean, it's nice being told that you're right by people that usually disagree with you, right? Like, I mean, if you're an atheist and you can get Christians to tell you that you're right a lot of the time and that you're a good guy or a good person, then you're like, oh, that feels good, right? And it's the same with right-wing circles or even left-wing circles, right? Like if you can get, that's why, like, you know, as soon as a lot of right-wingers start to kind of turn their content, say like Hunter Avalon, a lot of left-wingers kind of run in and like hug them, right? Because they're like, that feels good that now they're agreeing with us instead, right? So.
And here's the thing about that. I'm typically pretty cautious. Just as an example, like take fucking Tucker Carlson, who I'm apparently, like, or Sagar MT, or whatever the fuck his name. I'm supposed to believe that these are right wingers with whom I have a mutual interest on. You know what I mean? I'm very hesitant to give them a fucking olive branch when everything else they say is awful. Whereas like Hunter Avalon, you see, he is growing, he is changing. You can see
he's putting in the work.
He's putting in the work. You can see in more ways than one. He's putting in the work. But then you look at like Sagar MT or fucking Tucker Carlson. In one instance, you get like one clip of them saying something like mildly left-leaning, but then they go right back to streaming a mountain of bullshit or far right ass talking points and shit. You know what I mean? So
I mean, the thing is with Sagar, I mean, you can listen. Like I've watched The Hill, and it took me a while to figure out that he is a conservative. It's just listen to any of his takes on weed or police. You know, that populist-looking stance isn't there. Like, I don't think he's like the worst ever.
No.
Like he actually does have some pretty good takes from time to time, but like, you don't have to worship people. That's the thing. Don't worship anybody.
Yeah.
Recognize when they say something good.
And here's another thing on that, and this is just from my personal experience, and this is the big thing I'm trying to tell you. Like what you just said with the don't worship people. That also is like, how should I say? I am generally willing to give anybody an olive branch and generally be nice to anybody until you give me a reason otherwise. But you don't know someone till you know. As an example, a guy I used to work with, he was what was it? He was confined to the barracks because he was in trouble, but couldn't tell me why. He just wouldn't tell me why. Well, myself and everybody else there who also didn't know, we all treated the guy pretty well, because he seemed chill enough, seemed cool enough. He said things we liked. Cool beans. Until one day, our commanding officer had us all come into the squad bay, and today he looked really fucking angry. And he said that the guy, his name is, he was Corporal Boss. They was going to be in the brig for 15 years for raping his 2-year-old son and recording it, him and his girlfriend, that they had been doing that on a regular basis, and he'd been caught in that act. They got him in the sting. And the commanding officer was particularly pissed off about that. But as he said, 15 years, and he gets to see his son again after that. And he hated that verdict. But that caught everybody by surprise. We were all disgusted and distraught, like, holy shit. We treated this guy like he was a decent human being. We were so nice to him. He said things we agreed with and we liked him. And it turned out that that's what he was. You know what I mean? It's just so I like to try. I typically approach everybody with I'll give you an olive branch, but I'm not gonna immediately trust you because anybody could turn out to just be absolutely fucking awful. You know what I mean? If you want to put in the work, put in the work. But I like to approach everybody with a healthy fucking skepticism before I ever fucking just say, oh, he's saying the thing we agree with now, so he's cool. Nah, fuck that shit. I'm watching you. I'm got my eye on you.
Just to add, I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's exactly how I put it. When I think of people like Hunter Avallone, though, like I used to watch him like for years. Remember when he came out as an atheist, when he used to be like a Christian for the longest time? That's when I knew that he was the type of person that didn't give a flying fuck about like how many people are watching, how many people he wants people to agree with him. He didn't give a flying fuck because he was like, hey, this is me. I feel the need to tell people. So when he came out and said that he was a centrist, and like he actually on the polar opposite side of like Ariel Scarcella, Ariel was just like, I left the left because reasons. And like Hunter Avallone was like, well, I thought it over for several months. I spoke to Vosh. I did this. And he was more like in depth with like his so I can see things like that and go, okay, I can trust that person a little bit more.
Yeah.
When it comes to other types of people, like I am pretty skeptical myself. So I'm pretty similar. I agree with you on that particularly. So yeah, that's
right.
It's very different from like Lauren Southern, who was like, oh yeah, I'm a centrist now. I'm like, come on.
Very different, yeah.
Yeah, Tim Pool, we get it.
And
Pool, we know it's you.
And when people like that, like people like Lauren Southern, with the amount of shit she has done in the past, she has to do a lot of work to like call herself a centrist and actually do something to take back all the shit she has done in the past, because that is just disgusting.
I'll believe it when I see it, if we even see it.
Well, and to be fair, Hunter Avallone still kind of goes back to the conservative talking point sometimes. Like he still makes like anti-feminist videos, I think, and stuff like that. So he's still got like, you know,
he's still good.
He's still a pro-lifer too.
Yeah, I say give him time, and like he's not gonna necessarily abandon the deeply ingrained beliefs like, you know, being pro-life and all that. But give him time.
Yeah,
I think it'll happen in time that he'll, you know, definitely see arguments for, like, you know, against what he's arguing.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah.
Look, I need to split out. I just want to say real quick. First of all, anytime invite. I like doing this kind of stuff, just hanging out and having a chat. But the march toward the right has been going on for decades.
Yeah.
YouTube has accelerated it. Social media has accelerated this, but it's been happening my entire life, and I'm old. The thing is, the right never gives an inch. They expunge moderates, you know, from their party and from their friends list. They've been doing this. They've been practicing cancel culture, both personally, professionally, and politically, for decades. They get rid of the moderates. They call them rhinos. They clear them out. The left, we constantly try to find a middle ground with a side that is constantly moving farther away from us. The left, you see it now, was, as you see it now, 20, 35 years ago, was the right. It's a problem that I'm not sure we're going to be able to defeat, and I'm not sure how to tackle it, but it's real. And you know, and I really appreciate all of you guys here on the panel. I know I interact with you a lot on Twitter. You're some of my favorite people, and so just keep calling it out, keep calling bullshit until we can come up with a plan. But it's conversations like this that I hope we continue. I think that'll help us start getting to where we do have a plan.
Yeah,
but
thank you. Yeah,
anyway, I gotta run, guys.
Thanks,
right,
Fain. I appreciate it so much.
I love you. Thanks for the invite, Miranda, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
No problem. Take care of yourself.
Bye, guys. Bye.
That's perfectly said. I wanted to add a bit on what Fain has said. I feel like I know that it's kind of hard, like it's a bit pessimistic when we say stuff like it's kind of hard that what can we possibly do to change this? But when I was speaking to Rico Rants before, there was like, it might be a minor thing that we agreed on, but like there's still something that we can do about this. If you remember, Rico, we were discussing how YouTube and how the algorithm tends to favor right-leaning YouTubers because they push out so many videos. And I feel like, personally, I feel like we need to push out more videos. We need more left-leaning YouTubers. We need to actually have videos that are a bit, and which is hard because like we tend to like not only put everything in like a 10-minute video. It's kind of impossible to do.
Leftist YouTube, like BreadTube, it's like such long, like it's a whole joke. Oh, look how long these videos are, like Vosh's stream.
It's literally
or
a meme at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, but we need to do memes as well. Like we
need all kinds of things.
I don't see many people do on the left do memes the way I do. I wish I can see more of it because I'm pretty sure there's way more talented people.
We need all kinds of things because different people respond to different things, and I think
exactly
what you need to do is find out what makes the person tick. It's kind of like how I think of, trying to get people to be vegan or vegetarian. Not everyone cares about animal rights, but some people might care about their own personal health or the environment. You got to find out what makes someone tick and do what works and try to get them to see things in that way and break through to them in a way.
And sometimes it's hard to do because we're seeing so many like people that are just centrist, that were conservatives go into like to the point where they're totally okay with people being putting into unmarked vehicles and being like sent to God knows where, and they're okay with it. We're seeing people just being totally okay with and
yeah. On that note, again, a lot of it I know is motivated by I'm not necessarily for it, but I'm for it simply because my enemies are against it. You know what I mean? A lot of this goes back into an issue I've brought up before about how a lot of our political discourse is dictated by a false dichotomy, a kind of red versus blue mindset, where it's just there is no in between. It's just Democrat versus Republican, liberal versus conservative, red versus blue, and that's all. And we go from there. And so a lot of that my motivation is just because you would see people who should otherwise be against these things. Like it shouldn't be controversial to be against the federal government disappearing people. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers just coming down. That shouldn't be controversial, but it is because there are people who are motivated by they're against it, so I have to be for it. They feel that they need to be, and so we end up where we are because this is bumper sticker politics. My team versus your team.
It's kind of like when Angie mentioned veganism before, it made me think of that very thing. Because if you haven't noticed, there's so many people on the right doing the same thing that Jordan Peterson's doing. Like, I'll go on this whole all meat diet. And because it's a direct opposition of what a lot of left-leaning people do. Like veganism is actually more popular on this spectrum.
Well, that's because they go for the truth-telling angle, right? Like, I mean, so like if you look at a lot of the titles on the right wing, you'll see like the truth about kind of thing, and it's mostly garbage, right? And that's because they're trying to angle themselves as being like the truth tellers, the people that tell it like it is, even if other people don't like it so much, even though it's anti-PC, right? But it's really just a way to like push their conspiracy theories and have people go, well, I'm one of those. I'm a truth teller too. I'm like them. So that's how you get that crap. I make videos that are like usually way under either 15 minutes or less. So I think it can be done. I mean, maybe I don't do a good job at it. I don't know.
No, you do a good job. I love your videos, by the way.
I do think a good thing that we should do more of is more things like this. And not even necessarily just as a panel, but like just kind of just chilling and talking about these issues and whatnot, engaging with audiences and respectively. Like, I know on like I try to do every Saturday where I'll just have like a gaming stream where I'm just playing a game and I have on some folks and we just shoot the shit and talk talk politics, social issues, or just whatever the fuck. And people seem to really like that. The things like that where it's just a more chill vibe and we're just us leftists, the broad leftist perspective spectrum talking. And instead of just making it a heated debate or just making a fucking spectacle of it all, or something that feels too professional. You know what I mean? Because it feels like homework at that point. Whereas some people just want to chill and talk.
That's kind of why Andy Worski was so popular back in the day, because he had so many different YouTubers on, and they were like talking for five hours even, like just talking so much about nonsense, and it was very popular. And a lot of these type of YouTubers ended up going in different directions too to continue, like I don't remember if it was Fain or Rico that said it about the whole collabing. Oh my God, sorry. Sorry. But there was like so much collaborations. Lauren Southern collabed with Shu at one point, and like, and I think that we need to do that more. In fact, we're planning to do something, a video, Angie and I.
Oh yeah, I want to upload that, but I'm like, wait, I don't know, because I finished my bit, but I don't know if I want to do that as a teaser or what.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you guys this, but we're planning to do a video where we parody right-winger YouTubers. So Angie's going to play Blair White. I'm going to do Lauren Chen.
Hey, well, we're looking forward to seeing it. Like I said, y'all are welcome anytime on my Saturday gaming streams to just pop on and chill. Like I was playing Dream Daddy last time.
What is that?
Wait, you never heard of Dream Daddy?
No.
Well, it is a gay dad simulator where I'm going down trying to move into this nice old neighborhood and try to hook up with some good old gay dads. It is, and let me tell you though, the writing in the game is fucking phenomenal. Like, all jokes aside, the writing is really good. The relationship between you, the character, and your daughter, and then the conversations between all the dads, is actually really good. So it's a fun romp the whole time.
Okay, I'm curious about that now.
So y'all are welcome to come join me as I play that.
So is it kind of like Sims?
Yeah, and that's like Sims, just like a dating sim. Just watch my last Saturday stream and skip towards the end. You'll see exactly what I mean.
Oh God, I'm obsessed with GTA 5, like super obsessed. So I'm constantly online, and I'm always asking my friends to play when I have free time. And I'm like, my sister, I would message her and be like, "Hey, you ready?"
I can't be friends with either of you now.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, we're still gonna be friends though.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. I can say we can stand to do more stuff like that, because I think that is significantly more broadly appealing than what feels like homework.
I definitely agree with that. I think we need to. I mean, it's kind of difficult.
I mean, we all have such different interests. Like, I'm into classic rock, and it's so hard to find people who are into it on the left, who are into it like I am.
I like you.
Like, I'm in love with classic rock, and I'm like, that's what I talk about. That's what I wanted to get famous for doing, was talking about classic rock. And I'm like, I end up getting famous for something I didn't even intend to do.
I mean, yeah, that'd be cool.
I think we need to boost each other up a lot more as well.
For sure. I mean, stop thinking of it as a competition. I mean, individualism isn't 100% bad, but I think what we need to do is cheer each other on.
Yeah. Hey, I see y'all as my peers. Like, I don't feel like I'm competing with you. Like, I just like, hey, we're all on the same side doing the same. We're the same things in different ways. You know what I mean? I say, let's fucking help each other out, boost each other up, yada yada.
I think on Friday, hopefully Friday, it might be early next week, I'll have a video with Retgo. So I don't know if you're familiar with Retgo, but he makes some pretty good videos. But he's got a really small channel, so hopefully that'll boost him up a little bit.
Is that particular video that you discussed on your Twitter?
Oh yeah, I did. Thank you.
No, that's a different one. That one I made about responsibly platforming people.
Okay.
Yeah, and it mentions much larger atheist YouTubers in it. So I'm not sure. I made it mostly for catharsis, but I think it's kind of an important topic, and well, we're talking about it here. And so I'm probably going to release it. I sent it to my fiance who watched it, and she just sent me a text that said release it. So
Nice. Yeah. I just want to go over the there's a lot of chat, so I'm just going to briefly mention that Lynn the Oreo's in the chat. Hassan Jaya.
Hi, Lynn.
There's also Jeff Holiday that popped in.
Hey Jeff.
So I want to say hi to Jeff. I want to say hi to Hassan. I want to say hi to everyone. Unlife's really cool as well. There's a lot of cool people in the chat here. So thank you guys for tuning in on this. I really appreciate it. And I'm not often like used to a big turnout like this, honestly.
Oh my
so-
god, it's such a success. I saw like 20 people tuned in and I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get that
It's
often.
like a party. It's like a
Yeah,
party.
it's a party. I'm like, I wanna
Speaking of
do-
parties, next week's my birthday.
Oh, hey,
August
Happy birthday.
Happy
Thanks.
birthday. So
Yeah, I
what are you
want to
gonna
do something for my birthday, but it's like, I don't know. I don't want to do a live stream like that's public. I just want to talk to people on my birthday because I'm going to be lonely.
We can always do that. We can always have a little stream. Like in the past, I used to do a lot of streams like this in particular, but not to talk about anything. Not much, like just to drink and have fun with people. And I want to do those types of things again as well. But I still want to do these types of videos. Like we're discussing a particular topic because this was a success. I was really happy with how everything turned out.
Yeah, I had fun. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm gonna get rolling.
It was great to talk to you.
Yeah, for real. That was really great. I'm honored to be here, and I love talking with all y'all. Y'all are all fun, awesome people.
It's pretty awesome meeting people that you like. I know all of you from like Twitter and like your Twitter feeds and stuff.
Oh yeah, you were someone I followed for a while, and I was like so happy when I saw you followed me back. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
Try not to fangirl publicly about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit, Angie followed me. Oh boy. Miranda followed me. Oh boy.
I'm someone's senpai. I just that is amazing.
I never thought about it. That's
better
pretty
step
cool.
your game up now, Rico.
Yeah, but I will. I said my offer to you guys and those in the audience, like if anybody just want to pop in with me on one of my gaming streams and just chill and talk, hey, I mean, like just let me know. I'm easy to reach.
Okay, awesome.
But with that, y'all have a great evening.
Well, you too. Anything else you guys would like to say?
It's getting late here in Ireland. Bowie says hi. She's just
Hi,
right next
Bowie.
to me on her pillow. Well, it's my
I got
husband's
nothing.
pillow, but it's her pillow too.
I'm jealous. All of you guys, all of you have pets.
Yeah, my baby girl Fiona. I love her so much. Is that a dog?
There's mine. Yeah, I'm barking in the background.
Oh,
Oh, I'm jealous.
hey,
Okay.
pets are awesome.
Well, I
All
want to say, take care, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got to do this again sometime.
It was a pleasure.
Just
Yep.
so
Definitely.
happy, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Take care of yourselves, and we're gonna see the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as well. I really appreciate it.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.